In open play, Barcelona were building the game in traditional back four. In open play, Madrid were doing the press with sole man, and that was Karim Benzema. Benzema was 2 versus 1 down in front of Barca's centre back, so Barca's centre backs were carrying the ball with ease, and Barca were easily bypassing Real Madrid's initial line pressure. In open play, Real Madrid were defending in 4-2-3-1 formation. Real Madrid wingers Vinicius Junior position was higher than right winger Fede Valverde in the left half space. Barca were using sole pivot and he was being covered by Luka Modric. And Barca's pivot was isolated at the center of the pitch. Due to the Karim Benzema being central, Barca's centre back were going ahead carrying the ball with ease. So when Barca's right centre back was going ahead carrying the ball, Vinicius Junior being high in the right half space and he could block the passing angle of Barca's right centre back, and Modric was not compelled to cover Barca's right centre back except to cover Barca's pivot, and Barca's pivot was still isolated. But on the other hand, when Barca's left centre-back was carrying the ball and was going ahead, Luka Modric was being forced to press Barca's left centre-back due to the deep operating of Real Madrid's right winger. Because Modric had been committed on Barca's left centre-back, Barca's pivot was getting this central space when Barca's left centre-back was going ahead carrying the ball. In the build-up phase, both Madrid's midfielders were operating deep, almost like an inverted fullback, and in the build-up phase, both Madrid's fullbacks were pushing high. Barcelona were pressing with front two in the first phase, and Barca's front line was 4v2 down in front of Real Madrid's back line. Barca's frontman position was central, and Madrid's midfielders were operating in the half space, so Barca's front line was unable to curb Real Madrid's midfielder, and Madrid midfielders were moving forward with ease, carrying the ball from half space. Barca's winger was committed on Real Madrid's fullback, so Madrid was easily carrying the ball from half space. Because Barca's midfield was narrow, so when the ball was switching from midfield to wide zone, Barca's fullback was 2v1 in front of Real Madrid's fullback and winger. Due to the 2v1 situation, Real Madrid's player could easily beat Barca's fullback by doing 1-2s. As we discussed, Benzema was 2 versus 1 in front of Barca's centre-back, so Barca's centre-backs were carrying the ball with ease and were going ahead. But when Barca's centre-back were not going forward carrying the ball, then Barca's attacking midfielder was forced to drop. So when Barca's attacking midfielder was dropping, Real Madrid's midfielder was ready to track back Frenkie de Jong, and he was under pressure from Toni Kroos. When Frenkie de Jong was receiving the ball, Barca's fullback and centre-back were under pressure from Real Madrid players, and Barca's pivot was under pressure from Madrid. So in the half space, 4v2 situation was happening, and due to the lack of passing options, Barca were losing the ball position. Real Madrid were switching the ball from change passes when Barcelona were losing ball position in the middle third, fullback to pivot, pivot to centre back, and centre back to right back. Barca's midfield was wide and out of position, so when Madrid were switching the ball from change passes, all the players of Barca did not have the same speed to regain position, and Barca's midfield needed to time to regain shape, and Barca's midfield was disrupted. So Barca's second line was unable to create pressure due to the Barca's midfield being out of position, and by beating the second line pressure of Barca, Madrid were finding their place between the line. Now Luka Modric was in the role of number 10 and he was receiving the ball between the line and he had time and space. In this situation, Busquets was out of position and Barca's attacking midfielder was 2v1 in front of Benzema and Modric. Because in the build-up phase Benzema was dropping in, so when Barca's midfielder was committed on Real Madrid's number 10, Benzema was free in front of Barca's defense. So seeing Benzema free, Barca's defender was forcing to commit on Karim Benzema and hole was being created in the defense. Madrid defensive save was 5-2 in the final third. You can see here Pedri and Frenkie de Jong were operating in the half space. Because Real Madrid's defensive midfielder were narrow, the passing lane of Barca's attacking midfielder were getting blocked. So Barca's attacking midfielder were not able to link up with Barca's striker and Barca was being forced to build a game from wide. In the defensive third, Real Madrid were defending in back 5. Real Madrid's winger was dropping in and joining Madrid's back line. Barca's fullback was high and wide in the final third, and Barca's winger was moving in the half space. When Dembele was dropping in half space, Carvajal was ready to track back Dembele. There was no problem for Real Madrid with the right back pushing high because they have an extra defender who could cover Barca's fullback and those spaces. So due to the 2v2 situation and limited passing option on the left hand side, Barca were forced to play back pass. As we discussed, Kroos and Tchouaméni were in the role of defensive midfielder and they were covering the attacking midfielders of Barca. In the final third, Barca's right winger was operating wide, so when Barca's right winger was receiving the ball, Real Madrid fullback was being forced to cover Barca's right winger. Due to the wide drift of Real Madrid's fullback, space was being created between Real Madrid's centre-back and fullback. Cruz was covering Frenkie de Jong and Lewandowski was holding Real Madrid centre back, so Barca had space between Real Madrid's defender. This was happening because Madrid did not have an extra defender on the right hand side when there was an extra defender on the left hand side in form of Fede Valverde.